So here at the SociallyU studio, after every shoot, we sit around in the control room and we talk about what went good, what went bad, and what we could do better in the future. And we realized that we should probably record these things so we can actually remember what we said. And then we realized that this could possibly be good content for the people who view our channel. So come along with us as we learn, grow, and fail, and maybe you can learn something as we learn too. Welcome to the Debrief.
A lot happened in this filming because we actually went on location to work with this hospital. So we shot all the plates physically there at their hospital and then brought them into the studio to record. Now, why would we do that? Well, the hospital's really busy. There's a lot of people walking around. So by shooting plates, we're able to control exactly who does and doesn't show up on the shot, and from HIPAA and all those different sorts of things. We don't have to worry about any of that. No sound issues. And a lot of the places they wanted to record are real public places like the entrance or a lobby or something like that. So yeah, this will be really cool. So let's kind of hop in. We just finished recording this yesterday. This is the next day after. And, Jay, you mentioned this is one of the first times we've had a client know the space, like it's their space that they're normally in, but now we've brought their space into the studio so they could really tell if something looked off. So I thought that was a really good point, and I think the end result turned out really good.
Me too. Yeah, that was actually brought to my attention by Isaac. Way to go, Isaac. But yes, this is the first time that the people that actually work and travel to this exact location every single day have ever been on camera here, and I think they had a blast. Walking into a green room, especially the doctors that came here. Like the people who have organized this whole thing had an idea of what was going on, but the doctors that came here had no idea what they were stepping into. So for them to walk into the green screen, turn around, and look at themselves in the main lobby of that hospital, that was a great reaction. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, it was super fun. And so we're kind of working on better ways to show you kind of what we're up to. So this is the latest iteration of that. So you can hop over to my Ultimate, or nope, you know what? We'll start there. No, that's great. So pivoting. So what we're recording is going to show up on these 3 televisions, and this is in the lobby, and this is us shooting some of the plates. So I had a couple of pictures kind of showing us. Apparently,
I look like I'm rejecting Isaac for a high five.
You're like, no,
he's holding you up so you don't fall down.
Tyler could be on Instagram, but he probably is actually documenting the sets. That's what we'll go with on that. And so I don't know, do these do anything? I think they're just like little live photos. But these 3 TVs pose a little bit of a problem because they are in a row. And so essentially, if you were to look at a 16:9 image, this is like a third of the bottom third of the screen. So it's not awesome as far as like, how do we frame this and think this through? So we're still working through the logistics of how they want to do that. But because of that, we definitely recorded green because, it's kind of hard to figure out exactly what does that scene look like that they're in. But if we hop over to Ultimate, I can kind of show you. This is our actual lighting setup that we have. So we have 2 IntelliTech Mega 8 with diffusion. And then in front of that, we have 2 Westcott Scrim Gym 4x6 roughly.
Yes.
Size. And then we have a couple of, we needed a little bit of a hard light so that we could get that shadow to kind of come down on the bottom. And so just straight out of camera, if I just hit File Clear on the Ultimate, this is where we are. And overall, it was pretty good. I mean, you can see there's a few things we want to sample a little better on the screen. We actually used a clean plate for this, which the talent steps off of the shot. We shoot the clean plate and then bring it back on. I don't know if that's not a thing anymore. That's saved from yesterday. So once we had that in place, but you can see it's already pretty good. Like if I just adjusted the matte density for his coat and brought that up a little bit, maybe I accentuate those shadow levels just a little bit on the floor. You can see it's already pretty great. We probably took that and just took the black levels down just a little bit just to help get him a little more in the scene. And then of course you're seeing all this stuff happen on the background of the screen. So we just need to actually just sample it. So we'll just sample there and sample the floor. That's getting us fairly close. Okay, that got rid of most of that. And yeah, so I mean, something like that is kind of where we were with it. I can play it. The playback is being a little stuttery, so you're not going to really see that in full. But you get the idea. It was something kind of like that. Had that light motivated from the side. Of course, obviously, we used on the window of the mat in. We went in and cropped out all of the stuff that we had there. And on the window top, cropped that out. And of course, we softened each of those. So it ended up looking something like this.
Funny how convenient it is sometimes when you're doing that window mapping. And we were realizing as we were kind of messing with it that it lines up with that pillar that's coming out of that room. You walk to the room and you're coming out this way. The division between that and the hallway lined up pretty perfectly. So, you know, that feather and softening that edge does a really good job, but it's nice when you can line it up with something that's already there because that shadow kind of extends all the way down. So it hit it too.
For sure.
It was nice.
Now, one thing that was super cool is, and this was kind of unintentional, but at first I thought it was really funny that we brought our big Sockler tripod. I mean, we had these huge, let's see if I can pull a picture up over here of that. Hold on. Yeah, here you can, let's see.
At first we were thinking it was going to be a negative thing.
Right. It felt like, oh, this is dumb. Okay, well, this is in the boiler room, but we can cut over to this.
Spoiler.
But at first I was like, this is such overkill to have brought these in.
They are not light.
They are not light.
But they have wheels.
They do have wheels. And so what was cool about this, though, if we go back over, Morgan, to the Ultimat, and then Morgan, if you'll switch out that background. So what's cool here is that you can see here's this other scene, but because we had the camera, we just kind of left it at its lowest setting because this was the wide shot. And look at that. It's like, oh man, that was hilarious to switch over to this totally different scene. It was super easy to do that. And so, you know, then he's able to do his thing and talk, and everything, the lighting was motivated from the same side. So these were the two different locations that we shot. And it made it really simple to switch between these really efficiently.
Dude, we were wheeling all over that hospital.
I know.
And like what a lot of people don't understand about shooting plates, and I was explaining this to them, was like we used to do it guerrilla style, where we'd be like, yeah, that building looks cool. Let's go in there and see if we can film something and hope nobody says anything to us. But this time we were granted access to basically anywhere. I mean, they knew where they wanted us to go. So we were escorted throughout the hospital, and they're just rolling these cameras, and people are looking at us like, what is going on? But I think whenever they see the finished product, they'll think it's really cool.
Well, when you have the president of the hospital giving you the go-ahead, it certainly makes things a little cleaner.
This is true.
I was trying to find. Here you go. I just thought that was a funny photo that we had.
Well, I showed up a little bit before everybody because I wanted some coffee that I like in the area, and it was like, oh, this is hilarious. It's like, you cannot do the exact thing we're doing. I sent it to the group chat. I said, bad news, guys.
Got a problem.
Can't film today.
Not even with your phone.
Nope.
So I think overall this worked really well. We had these two sets. We did have a surprise curveball at the end of the day where they asked if we could do a two-shot. And I think we pulled that off pretty well. I have just like an iPhone video that I'll pull up for. Oh, here's the background of that shot. So here we are set up with that. The challenge there was nothing at all about the lighting, was how we would have wanted to light them in this scenario, because we have a very motivated side light, and that's it. So I just rolled around an IntelliTech and we extended that out. So what you see on that right side here, that's the lighting change.
Yep. And that's the dark behind it is because you moved that light from lighting the background so we could get the false color correct.
Right.
And
Which
was one of the challenges.
Yeah, so we just moved on from that. It was just like, whatever, I've got this pretty close. I think we've also added this Came TV, and maybe it's bouncing off of some other light here. But it's mainly just these three IntelliTechs just kind of surrounding them. So not the most ideal way to have lit it, but it was a surprise day of, maybe they told us before.
Well, and it was one angle, right? It was just straight on.
Yeah.
We weren't using the side angles anyway, so.
We probably would have, maybe, but they were not good. So it's like, there are no side angles. We'll just shoot this. It's a short video. It's like less than a minute or so, or whatever. It was quick. Yeah, so that's that, and I don't know how that.
Look at the candy.
Oh, there's other surprises in there. Yeah. So anyway, so that's what we did. So we had different doctors come in, show up, be on set, and or other medical professionals in the industry coming in, doing their bit. A lot of teleprompter. So Tyler, talk to us a little bit about the wonderful world of teleprompter.
Well, it was all, everybody had a teleprompter script. And so they were very, very open to changing the script to be more readable, because a lot of times people will write things and it's like, you cannot say this out loud. It's just very awkward. And so we were able to change that on the fly. And, things like saying I am and changing it to I'm, or there is and changing it to theirs. It makes it flow a lot. But then there's times when you want to say I am doing a certain thing. And so we're able to go through, we would read through it with them. Hey, is there anything in there you think we should change that or reword that? And one of the cardiologists wanted to change specifically how it talked about cardiology, so we could change that on the fly. And then always change additionally to also, things like that. But the great thing about it is they were very open to modifying the scripts, so that made it very easy.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I was really worried because especially with corporate, or in this case medical, sometimes it has to go through like a review, or financial. Some of these things have to be very like, nope, this is exactly what we're allowed to say. But fortunately for this content that was in here, the context of it didn't require any like, oh, we can't change
Legal.
This. Yeah.
Yeah, they were not particular about it.
Right. So that worked out great. You did a lot more though than just that though. I mean, I feel like you were very good at gently pushing them down the path of, that is not a good sentence.
Yeah, there were
a
a couple things that were in there, and you read it, it was just like, man, that is awkward. And so it's tough because you don't want to be critical to the point of, like saying, you guys don't know what you're doing. But it was really good because I could say, hey, guys, that phrase there doesn't make much sense. It was something about one of the physicians was moving back to the area, and the way it was constructed didn't logically make sense. And so thankfully they were willing to work with me, and I could rewrite it a little bit so it made a lot more sense. There were a couple of times when there were just kind of little phrases that were kind of stuck in there, and when you read it, it was like, that grammatically doesn't work. And so we were able to modify those and make it make more sense.
Yeah, that's great.
Grammatically and logically.
Yeah. It's a big deal we talk over and over about writing for speaking versus writing for reading.
Yep.
Just such a different thing.
Very different.
And this is a new day for this this hospital. The CEO has come in, and he's really doing some pretty dramatic and exciting things. If you cut over here, you can see him. He's kind of helping coach this doctor who's a fantastic doctor, but hasn't been on camera a lot. And but you can see, like, I loved how he really joined in with him, and he's got his hand on his shoulder, and he's really, I don't know, it's really cool to see. He's like, man, I'm here for you, and I'm going to do this with you. It wasn't like he wasn't telling him, hey, you're doing it wrong, do it this way. Instead, he came alongside. I just thought that was a very cool leadership moment for him to be fun with that, and not just sit there and have it where the doctor was all by himself kind of doing it. I don't know where it went, but it's gone now. There it
I'm
is.
glad you recorded that, because I was standing in the room with them when that was happening,
Yeah.
and I was like, I can't go hit the record button currently. So this is brilliant.
It's a cool moment because he's a very
Yeah.
successful doctor. Is he the head of the ER for him?
I believe so. Yeah.
And so, he's this amazing doctor, but you could tell he was struggling. And so he's like, hey, he just brought the tension down and just made it fun and simple and like, hey, we're in this together. that was a cool moment to see him do that. So
one other thing that's interesting is these doctors have grown up watching YouTube. One of the other doctors was like, oh yeah, it's like, so we could talk in terms of, well, when you watch a YouTube video, the way they talk to each other. And he was like, oh yeah, I watched this certain.
Dude, we were talking about,
whole
I don't know if
generation.
you probably, people may listen to this, but there's a guy named the Stradman, and he has like every car you could imagine. And in his channel, he's very like, oh my gosh, look at this car. Oh no, I'm going 100. Oh my gosh. Oh. And then you see him on other videos, and he's like, yeah, my cars are cool. and then you realize that you like his energy level in his channel, and that's why you continue to watch, because what makes it entertaining. So that helped me direct by giving him an example of being like, oh yeah, we need you to take your energy up a notch because the camera is going to cut your energy in half. And that's how he was able to understand it really well.
It was funny too, because I would have them do just kind of a dry read through with the script so we could read the words and make sure they all flow and everything. And then I would turn to Jay and say, okay, Jay, they need the talk.
The talk.
So we started, it was about the talk about the energy level. And Jay has a great way of talking with the folks about energy and how it comes across on camera.
Yep. You mean the introduction talk, where I basically introduce myself like I would in person, and then I introduce myself like I would on camera. And when I do it on camera, the on camera version, it's extremely awkward and it's very overpowering. And I basically, I go for a handshake and make it firm, and I'm like, "Hey man, my name's Jay. How's it going?" And they sort of that sort of is a way to just communicate that it's going to feel extremely awkward in here when you do it, but when it comes out as a final product, you're going to be really happy with the way that it looks. So,
speaking of handshakes and just the experience, Emma, what was it like outside of the control room? Like how would you describe the interactions with everybody?
I think everyone was super happy. I've just lost my words, but I think everyone was happy, and I heard nothing but great things about the team, about the recordings. Everyone was super happy.
The cookies at the end of the day were kind of
at the end of the day.
That I didn't eat.
Yeah. It was nice because they're medical professionals, and so they're used to taking care of others, and so it was nice for us to kind of take care of them for the day.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's neat. Yeah, well, you did a great job. They seemed super pumped, like when they were leaving. In fact, I got a text from him last night and he was just like, man, world class. This was amazing. So I'm looking at it on my phone to see if I can pull it up. But he was just saying, yeah, thanks again for a tremendous day. Stoked to get the rest of our team down there. You all have a gift, is what he said. So, yeah, it felt really good. It felt like a strong day. Felt like we moved quick. They did a good job of pacing. How many people did we bring in? 4? Let's see, 1?
4.
Yeah, 4. So we had 4 people on camera. We were finished. Maybe it went just a little later than they thought, but we were finished before 6, maybe 8 to 6. And I don't know how many videos we made. But, we do have to take into account when we're helping a client come in who's bringing in their experts who are not necessarily experts on camera. I think that's a big deal, because we have other people that we'll bring in and they'll just crank,
Yeah, there's a difference for me in the direction whenever you're dealing with a doctor who's never been on camera that much before, and then when you're dealing with somebody like Harris, who's a client that you guys have seen on the debriefs because you all watch every single episode and you're subscribed and you like every video and you comment.
Thanks for doing that.
Yeah, that guy there's nothing for me to do. Like maybe here and there I'd say something, but really he's just a pro.
Man, and to bring 2 physicians down and have them take the time to come and be on camera, now they know that their time's going to be well spent and efficiently used.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so they can
love that.
They can trust that we're not going to have them standing around doing nothing.
By the way, Andre, we did 12 videos total. Now there was a ton of time in between those because we were waiting for people to show up and whatnot. But also we did a ton of takes. So like if you count each take times 12 by at least 5 or 6 takes each, and you get the amount of time that we spent doing recordings yesterday. So
for sure. One of the awesome things yesterday is the control room speakers were mostly off for a good portion of the day. And Eli, our audio engineer, was doing a great job, but we were also able to hear. You may notice these fashionable headphones that we're all wearing. So Morgan and Isaac, tell us a little bit about the big change that's happened. There's
I think the main thing is we've separated headphone mixes, so we all have our headphones here and we're all able to talk and communicate over Unity and have that private communication channel, which is really great. And it really lets us not isolate too much, but be able to talk like back and forth.
Sorry, that was my watch. That was Siri.
I was wondering where
how that
Siri
goes.
came from.
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, and then Isaac has helped me kind of tie it into bit focus to do all the triggering of everything. I'll let him kind of talk about that.
I hate bit focus. No, it's great. But man, is it a lot. So we definitely have some problems. We're getting there. We talked maybe a little bit about this in the TVA debrief that we're working on. But
Here's buttons.
there's our thing. So I'm working on icons for them too now that it's working pretty good. But basically, we've got the dials doing channels, and we now all have a control room dial if we want it, and so that's synced across it. So if somebody hits the control room button to unmute, it will sync across everybody. And basically the way that works is in the server, everything's shouting at each other what's happening. It's like I hit the button and it goes and it's like, hey, you, control room's unmuted, control room's unmuted, control room's unmuted. I'm like, somehow that's the only way we can get it to work. There's not like a
and we had to do that because of the X32 limitation of how many devices could connect at once.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me jump in here. Let
so
me
sorry.
back this up just a tiny bit and explain what in the world we just did. So we have a comm system. We use Unity, and a challenge we were having is we had a Persona central station that was going to be that's the volume control for the entire control room. And so the challenge was, it's like, oh no, it's time to turn down the control room. Somebody's getting up and having to walk down to the front to like turn a knob. And it was like, man, we've got to have knobs in multiple places to turn up and down the environment in the room. And then part 2 of that was, man, we need a simplified, easy way for us to be able to quickly push buttons and communicate. So the question, guys, let me direct this a little bit. So the question is, why would we not just use Unity? Because Unity has Stream Deck buttons. Why would we not just have this in Unity, have these Stream Deck buttons? What required us to buy an entirely new? Why am I broke?
Yeah,
Explain why I'm broke.
I think the main answer to that is Unity is great, but the Stream Deck integration with BitFocus hasn't fully been integrated as far as level control of your sources and the latency. Because we're all in the control room, Unity is great for our remote audio engineers or if you're off-site. But being in this room, we need the lowest latency possible. And so that let us be able to have kind of like a band individual mixes. So I could bring in all the sources from our main audio mixer, which is Waves, into the X32. And so for that's why we needed the X32 to handle that mix. Because Waves, which is what our audio console is, also doesn't have BitFocus companion support. And it was just an extra layer. We're out of routing ability inside of Waves because of the amount of sources that we have. So we're really treating this like a stage split. So all our sources go to Waves and to the X32 so that we can each individually control our levels inside. And if Unity adds the ability, which they do in the Unity Pro, we could adjust per channel in Unity, but currently that doesn't exist. And is not super user friendly.
And we love Waves. Why did you pick Behringer?
Again, for the BitFocus companion support, they seem to integrate better for the Stream Deck commands.
Yeah, I don't think we could have done this with Waves from what little I know about Waves. Because it's a complex kind of cascading chain of things. Even still, we had issues when, like Morgan pointed out, we found out there's a limit on connections on the X32. It's not documented anywhere. You look it up on the internet. It's like, it's 7. It's not 7. It's like 2 apparently for us. So when you're sending a lot of information back and forth, it starts getting complicated. And so getting this to work, I feel like really required having that like X32 system. And it's worked pretty solid. There's some kinks in the system we need to work out, but generally speaking, it's working.
Well, and it's also rackable and looks really nice in the server rack. That's partial to why we have it, but super easy to integrate. So I'd say the integration element of it with companion is where it's at with that.
That's awesome.
Plus you didn't have to buy all the plugins twice for Waves.
Yeah, nice. And so that's in the rack. We've got that connected up. A couple of really cool things for me. Obviously, I mean, this seems so simple, but just having a place where all of us can now touch a button, mute the control room or turn up or turn down. This is so critical because we've unfortunately made the control room cool, and a lot of people want to hang out in the control room, and sometimes it gets really noisy. And so that's been like, we've made this too cool of a place. Can you go hang out somewhere else? We're trying to do the work, and they're like, ha ha ha, laughing and whatever. So being able to like turn up or turn down something has been great. But now I really loved how kind of focused the control room felt, because there was, I think, maybe we had a little volume and sometimes none. But when the client came in, we were able to just kind of give them volume, but then we're able to stay in our space. You've given us buttons so that we can directly talk to each other through the mix.
Yeah, Eli also felt like he was more connected because we were utilizing PL a whole lot more to be able to communicate back and forth.
Right.
Traditionally, we haven't been doing that. It's just turn to the person to your left or right kind of thing. But now we have PL, so audio felt more involved because they're remote. So
right. They had a clue of what was happening.
Along.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if you happen to work for Elgato, you should hit us up, because I believe at every single station, Morgan has more than all of us, but I have, what is this? Is this the large or the
XL?
So we have the XL and the new
Plus
with all of the dials on it at each station. So we have a ton. Like, I was trying to find the video, but when we got them, we had a tower of Elgato brand new stream
we bought
decks.
7.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have a ton of those, and they're awesome. The touchscreen capability to be able to mute stuff too and work really quickly. You guys did an awesome job, because it's made our lives easier for sure.
And the bit focus people. I mean, it's so cool that somehow this open source thing is like so well supported through a million different ways.
I see we have a photo.
Yeah, we got X32. There it is.
There you go. There's the front of
That looks cool, right? That looks professional.
Now we're professional.
Yeah, and if you don't know, Andre's thing, even when it comes to tech, is it has to look cool as well. So being able to slam that in the rack and have a bunch of little things going on is double as cool.
Well, listen, like
blinky lights, yeah.
Yeah, blinky lights. More blinky lights is good. The thing is, it's hard to communicate the value that we're providing, right? So it's like, how do we show at every experience that everyone has that this is high-end technical, but that we also make it simple and smooth? And so for me, that's just another way of it's just another thing in the rack that's just like, oh yeah, look at this. That does stuff. It has lights and things.
Now, I did notice a lot of times there was conversations happening between you and Isaac, and Prompter, so Tyler and Jay were having private conversations back and forth.
Yep.
And that seemed like that worked really well.
Yeah, well, it was cool because at one point it wasn't. Right. I was trying to talk to Tyler, but PL was so Unity. So I had a Unity comms audio button or knob, and that would turn up the volume for my entire Unity.
Right.
So I couldn't isolate what channel I could hear over the other. But I complained about it, and I swear, like maybe 2.5 to 3 seconds later, Morgan was like, "Yeah, it's fixed." Yeah, and like all of a sudden, when I would go to talk to Tyler, when Tyler and I would talk back and forth, it would duck PL so that I could hear exactly what Tyler was saying.
Yeah,
but also still be able to tell that people were on PL.
Yeah, you guys. And there was another audio issue where I was doing something, and I was talking on stage, and it muted, I guess, program in Unity. And you guys were like, "Okay, wait, it's doing this." So you guys went over there and did some magical things, and immediately it was fixed. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, our little thing that happened is things got flipped, and we're still sorting out how this happens because it occurred a couple times throughout the day. The Stream Decks are great, but if you really don't push the button like really all the way, sometimes you can kind of have let go on accident and trigger it too fast. And so if you trigger it too fast, then all of a sudden it's moved a step in a way that's out of sync. So then it would happen where you push the button, it starts unmuting.
Here's the tower video that I did.
Yeah. So we just a few of them. Oh man, never enough Stream Decks here. I wish the Stream Deck Plus was about double this size. I need 8 knobs and Plus XL Plus.
Hey, and I will say too, the cool thing, you mentioned this earlier about the control room, being able to adjust the volume. So when that was happening, and mine was also reversing. So when I was talking downstage, it was muting the program audio, and I'm trying to listen to what he's saying. So I'm kind of freaking out, and I'm like, oh yeah, if I just take my headphone off and turn the control room volume up, now I can hear it. And then when they fixed it, I turned it back down, which I would have last time. I'd have been like, Morgan, turn it up, or have to go over there and do it myself. But I just calmly turned it up, turned it back down, and went about my day, which was awesome.
here's a quick view of the 2-up that we did. So that's I know it's stupid vertical video, but there's what that ended up being, what that looked like. And again, that was that setup. That's what the 1-up looked like between the different shots. So you can kind of see those as they go. Overall, I feel like the audio is headed in such a positive direction. Everybody, like Morgan and Isaac, you guys worked really hard on this, and it really worked really well. So I'm super, super pumped about this audio solution. Hey, shooting plates sucks. It's really hard. And
It's an all-day thing.
Yeah, it took tons of gear, but we did end up with some really classy,
Almost fell off there.
some really nice footage. Is obviously this, anyway, we were kind of laughing at, here's another real class act over here. Yeah, and it was funny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he wanted us to go. These are in no really good order. Congratulations. We put the least amount of effort into the debrief.
We just texted a bunch of videos to each other.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. Here's these things. So, yeah, so that was what it looked like before.
Dude, go back to that. It was so hot down there. Look at me.
So
I'm
hot.
fanning myself. I'm like dying.
Yeah, it was very warm in there.
Who wouldn't have thought the boiler room?
I just want to
It's
know what that's
hot.
going to be used for.
Well, I think his point was like something you don't ever think about inside the hospital
Maintenance.
is the thing that keeps you warm or cold or whatever boiler rooms do. I think so. His point would be like, hey, this is a part of the hospital that we put a lot of money and energy and time into that you'll never see, but that's helping you basically stay alive. And what's cool about that is it is not friendly for filming conditions for 1,000 reasons. But when we have this done, I mean, it'll totally be something that we can just very comfortably step into, and the audio will sound perfect and very easy to interact with.
Yeah, because it would literally be impossible to film in there.
Right.
Because it is so loud.
For sure.
So we were having to scream at each other.
Yeah, it was intense. Hey, this happened. So I walked in. These are 4 of our Mega Intelli. Simmer down, laptop. And so I walked
Sorry,
in.
Aaron, if you're watching.
Yeah, we love you. But yeah, here's 4 of these guys, and they really tumbled off. So using my powers of deductivity, I think something we should do is mount those a little better so that
Secure
can't
those.
happen. Yep.
They're just sitting on a shelf.
No, they weren't, but they
But
should.
I'm saying they were just sitting on a shelf, so there wasn't anything strapping.
Right.
Right. We're lucky
There
that.
will be soon. though.
Right.
So we use, is it Luminaire? So we use
Yeah.
to control our lights via DMX. So luckily, those are not all individually up there. Technically, they are all daisy chained together.
Wow.
So they were holding each other up because
It's a metaphor
the combination, the combination between the power cords, the cords that were actually plugged in, and the cords going out to the lights, and then the Ethernet cables that were daisy chaining in between each one. So yeah, luckily that
So we'll
nothing
fix
got
that.
broken.
We went down weird corridors in the hospital, so that's kind of what that looks like. But look at this, carrying this around. So hey, spoiler alert: we are definitely exploring other options of how to shoot plates, because what this involves is a ton of work where we are essentially bringing in our gear, and they're these studio cameras. They're not even, we're like running stupid extension cords and whatever. Like, it's not good.
There's no battery power.
No, it's so lame. Like,
It's like
we're
going back in time.
I know it feels very much not awesome. There's this picture.
What am I doing?
Man.
Kubrick stare right there, dude. Oh, is that when we were trying to light? So
We're
the
trying
light
to
was
light
on the
it,
floor.
and it was on the floor, and I was like, "Oh, just look up at me." Yeah, perfect. Got that.
Shining
Work
or
it.
something.
Yep. Yep. There's your photo. That's your new profile photo.
Actually, yeah. Can I get that?
That's the thumbnail of the video.
Yeah.
Hey, I shot B-roll.
Yeah.
I don't have any of that to show you right
You need
now.
to see it. I shot B-roll of you shooting B-roll, and
Is that
everyone
C-roll?
does get to see that.
C-roll.
Yeah, C-roll. Kroll.
Oh, so I wasn't here for like a couple debriefs ago. Like I was out of town. Isaac, you were on that one, right? So you've been on the debriefs before, correct?
I think there
Okay.
was one.
One thing I'll say about having Isaac here is Isaac is an awesome run and gun B-roll shooter, and that's been really nice because it's sort of been me in the past.
Yeah.
But also I'm sort of directing and then also doing file management and all that other stuff. So our reels are going to be getting better. They are already better because
Better
we actually
and better.
Stop. That's no one will understand that. But that's something that's awesome that is happening. Now we have somebody who's here who can actually think about a creative way to shoot things so that we can put things on social media and make things look awesome. So it's been really nice. Being able to watch you walk around with a camera and be like,
Yeah,
oh, look at that.
cool.
Somebody's doing it. That's awesome.
Also, I don't know who rigged up this tripod, but
I know it wasn't me. I was just standing there.
not really good. Hey, in a completely different thing, I just got back from Finland, so Emma, you're welcome. I got this is called super salty licorice. Oh, it just wasn't
So
good.
when Andre goes to Finland and comes back, he brings us candy.
Yeah, so that's some gross
But
candy.
it's not
we got.
candy.
It's not. It's
not
disgusting
candy.
menthol
It's awful.
licorice salt.
This was listed as sour candy. Imagine a sour Skittle. That's wrong. Imagine a Skittle.
It wasn't sour at all.
It wasn't sour at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I was like,
Morgan's
no.
like, oh, I'll get in that one.
Yeah.
I didn't hate this
Where was
stuff.
the dog food one?
Yeah, the
Oh,
one
yeah.
that literally
that
looked.
one was.
That one was bad.
the
These
one
are not organized, so
No, they sure aren't.
congratulations. You get to
So-
see a little bit of everything.
Look at me. I'm depressed in the back because I can't eat any of it.
Apparently,
I don't think you should have been depressed.
Yeah, it's true.
people in Finland love 3 flavors in this order: salt, licorice, and chocolate. And
Emma's
forgot
also
mint
that
salt
way.
miyaki. Is
Everybody's throwing away the candy.
it's so strange to our mouths, but apparently they love it. And I was reading articles, and they were saying,
There it
if
is.
somebody, there you go. Those are the worst.
Dracula.
They're salty, super salty, and then they turn to like a caramel flavor. And Finns will ship these all over the world to Finn expats that living. They're like, please send us candy from home.
Ugh.
I
welcome.
tried to Google Translate it, and the top said, "What was it? It was like
Salmon?
but it was like evil salmon, or like
Yeah.
it was some like
Dracula, I mean,
terrible
there's a-
word." And I'm like, "What?"
There's a whole series of Dracula candies, and it's Dracula this and Dracula that.
Oh, there's the whole layout.
Yeah,
so
man.
got some real
Licorice
winners
is good
up there.
though, man.
Got
They
some-
got,
the king size chocolate bar thing. That
These are
thing's
really
good.
huge. Yeah,
Those are good.
those were
yeah,
good.
it's pretty funny. Okay, well, listen. Hey, thanks for watching all of this. Hopefully, we don't know if these are helpful to you or not. We're trying to the goal is to make content. We don't have a lot of time, so it's like, well, we're just going to kind of record, and here's things that we want to talk about. I think overall, what I would say is the magic of making this work so well is so many of the shots were. The wide shot specifically, because it was so standardized and the lighting came from the same side, it made it very fast for us to toggle between those different sets.
Literally push of the button.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're wondering if it's any easier to get the correct false color to make your key look great on a wide shot versus a tight shot, it is not.
It is not.
The wide shot is very difficult, especially when you build your own wall. But yeah, so we spent a lot of time doing those to make those look awesome.
Yeah, and I think they really turned out well. I think that all went really great. Things that we're thinking about. So certainly thinking about the ambient room tone of what this space would sound like, because we want to have. So I've been talking to Eli quite a bit about this, and Eric, and so we're kind of thinking through how do we apply an effect that gives a sense of them in the room, because our room has a tone to it, even though we have a lot of dampening and other things like that. So I do think we're kind of still missing an element of that, a slap back that's kind of happening inside the
Sound
space that
design.
we have. Yeah, just
Like for
thinking
movies,
through.
and television, sound design is
Yeah.
so important.
It is, and audio is very important. We take it really seriously. Not on the debrief, we just
As you can hear.
yeah, as you can hear the AC and all the rack and all of that. But everything else we take really seriously on that, and so that's something we're really thinking about is like, how can we apply an effect to the space that's not overwhelming, because you don't want it to be super echoey, you want it to be clear, but you certainly don't want to get the sense that this room is small with the way the audio is sounding as well. So that's the thing we're considering. Another thing we're thinking through and working around is this plate capturing business. This is quite an ordeal. This particular client is booking many days with us, so this was a process that made a lot of sense, and we think it'll serve us really well with them. However, this is not actually a very feasible way. In many ways, like if this was a one-off shoot, this would have been a terrible idea. It's like it would have been cheaper just to go on location and shoot. So we do have to kind of process that and think through the best way to allow us to shoot plates. So we are absolutely looking at something called Nerf and 3D Gaussian splatting and other tools like that so that we can have more three-dimensional spaces, because the big challenge of these plates is getting all the perspective and proportions correct. And so that's something, it feels like we spend the most amount of time getting that in place. And with some of these three-dimensional ways that we can capture now, that's really interesting to us. There are, of course, pros and cons with all these. So stay tuned as we kind of start exploring some of those options. But I'm spending an inordinate amount of time looking at 3D Gaussian splatting videos. Easy for me to say. So we're thinking about that. We also deployed a huge NAS, and I'm not going to get into that except to say that we did that. And that turned out to be critical for this solution to work. So just quickly, guys, so we want to do an actual video that we put more effort into, that is a video showing the NAS, a video showing the audio solution. But tell us real quick, why was it, what did we need the NAS to do in relation to this audio solution, just in case somebody's going down this path now, just so we can kind of give them a hint?
Yeah, one of the main things is when we built our new storage solution, as we call Webster, we overbuilt it with processor and RAM to be able to run what's called virtual machines. And so we're running a virtual machine with Docker. And what Docker lets us do is spin up what they call containers. And the containers are running our BitFocus companion for all of the different stations. So it allows us to really centralize everything into one spot. And then we're just using companion satellite to talk back. So it makes it super easy to deploy and back up and save all of our configs. Otherwise, we'd have to buy a computer per Stream Deck, which would be very not cost effective and really difficult to manage.
Also, the quick thing about it is that that's what enables us to use it with the X32, because that way we have one connection going to the X32. So there's one extra computer that would have to be its own computer that would do literally nothing but talk to the X32, and that would just be a complete waste of a computer. But now it's just a little chunk out of a big computer.
Yep.
Nice. Thanks. So last thing I wanted to say is, not like many of you, like so many that we don't know what to do with all of these emails, although we're not doing great at it, but many of you are starting to contact us asking, like, can we help you with your studio build out, which is both humbling and exciting. And man, we're not prepared for this. So it's like, I don't know, a few times a week, we're getting an email from all kinds of countries and places asking for us to help consult. And so this is a not refined or even thought of line of business that we're starting to kind of get into. So be patient with us if you contact us. If you are interested in this, contact us. If you've watched this video 40 whatever minutes in, congratulations. And so maybe you're into this too. So I'm kind of thinking through a few things. I'm thinking through an option that's like a retreat or something, like a workshop where we bring everybody into the studio, we bring in all the parts and have everybody kind of workshop this for a few days or a week, or I don't know. So love to know, because you must be interested to watch this video this long. So if that's something you're interested in, let us know. We'd love to kind of think through that process of what it would take to really kind of have everyone get their hands on all this gear and think through all the parts of this. We'd love to see if that's an option that you'd be interested in. So let us know. Easiest way is just studio@sociallyu.com. Send us an email, or just go to sociallyu.com on our website and you can click on that and see. So yeah, I think that's all I've got. Let me see this wide shot of the room real quick here. Yeah, so that's all of us in here. Cammy's not here; she's on vacation this week. There's some other.
We have one extra.
We have one extra.
The guy's on the pod every now and then. So,
so that's us. So appreciate everyone watching, and we'll try to do more of these. We've been literally so busy. We've done so many filmings that we have not done a debrief for, because we've just been back to back shooting those. So we'll try to get a better rhythm of getting these out the door to show you guys what we're up to. Thanks for watching.